The time is now 6 p.m. and we're going to go ahead and call this regular meeting of the Tipp City Board of Education to call it to order. Thank you. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Mr. Stevens, will you call the roll?
Mrs. Drum.
Here.
Mr. Maines.
Here.
Mrs. Dillard.
Yes.
Mrs. McMurray.
Here.
Mr. Thompson. Here. All present accounted for. We have a quorum and can continue the meeting.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Stevens. All right. Oh, shoot. I should have written it down. At this time, I would love a motion to approve the agenda.
I motion.
Okay. Moved by Mrs. McMurray and seconded by Mr. Maines. Is there any discussion?
We need to change, I move that we add the changing of our work session to new business. That is section 7, it would be 7E.
Okay. All right, so 7E. Mr. Stevens, do you want it in like a formal written, or are you just gonna?
No, we can go ahead and I will add that right now. Is there any discussion on what the motion would be?
So something like a motion to change the work sessions to previous or before.
Proceed.
To proceed, thank you, current board meetings. Regular board meetings, thank you.
Just add that right now, work sessions. Time and place. Action item. Approval to move work sessions for the remainder of the year. To occur at 5 p.m. on the day of the monthly regular
Third
meeting.
board. Yes, perfect. That sounds
at LT
awesome.
Ball.
All right, is there any other items of discussion? All right, hearing none, we'll proceed to vote on the amended agenda.
If you hit F5, you will then see the new item in your list. Yep. And if anything was written down incorrectly, we can change that as we go into
Yep,
it. So now
sounds
that it's
good.
there.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Stevens. Okay, we'll go ahead and vote if there's no other discussion.
Okay, as amended, correct?
Yes.
Okay, McMurray?
Yes.
Maines?
Yes.
Drum?
Yes.
Dillard?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Okay, the agenda passes as amended. Okay, Mr. Moran, you're up first with the student recognition presentation for this evening.
All right, so we asked the students from Broadway, LT Ball, and typical middle school to recognize for their outstanding work in and outside of the classroom. So what I'll do is I'll introduce the student's name, and if you can come on up here, I'll give you your certificate, and then you can shake the board members' hands, and then go over there and get your picture taken, and parents are welcome to get up and move over there and get pictures taken. We'll probably take pictures as a group, so the Broadway students will get pictures together, but you're welcome to, again, move around and get the best angle. My right side if you're wanting to see. So, first off, we have, and if I screw something up, you let me know. So we have Broadway Elementary, we have Taskmaster, and I believe he told me it was because of his math work that he did today. Is that accurate, Henry? And that was Henry Arms in 2nd grade, received a certificate for his work. He's already passed addition, subtraction, is now working on multiplication in his extra math practice app. So good job, Henry. Come on up. And then we have Cam Brown, 1st grader. He gives 110% every day. He's eager to learn, engaged in all activities. Handwriting is beyond awesome, and he truly represents our 3 pillars. So Cam.
Nice handshake, by the way.
Nice handshake. Very nice.
Is Grace here? Grace, I have K-N-I-P-P-E-N, Knippen, for Mrs. Martin's class is a leadership. She leads by example, accepting challenges with ease and showing kindness to others and welcoming a new student and offering friendship. So thanks to Grace, I don't think she's here today. Braxton, where you at? All right, make sure I get it. Is it Braxton Grosvenor?
No.
How do you say it?
Grosvenor.
Grosvenor, okay. Well, congratulations, Braxton. This award is presented for his outstanding artistic achievement. Did you bring some artwork for us? Why don't you come show us? He's demonstrated exceptional creativity, imagination, and dedication to exploring new techniques and ideas. Paint. And you did freehand by yourself? Cool. You really like art. Favorite class? Yeah. Congratulations.
Good job. Tell your mama to get a frame.
Congratulations.
Good job,
Gorgeous.
Great work.
We have, yeah, that's all the Broadway students.
Oh yeah, parents, make sure you get your pictures.
All right, at LT Ball for our 3rd through 5th graders, I have, and make sure again, Aisha Nair, she for school ambassador. Aisha is an excellent student and peer. She is always eager to help others and is very good at keeping her groups focused on task at hand. She is also chosen by her classmates to represent them at the Junior Hope Squad. So congratulations. Yeah, you were at the Hope Down.
Congratulations.
Were you voted best dancer at the Hope Down? And then we have a group of students. I assume they were a team. Is that right, Mr. Baglis? A couple different teams. Okay. So we had Isaiah McLean, Bella Zornachenko, Kennedy Hartledge, Bella Baglis. Come on up here. So we have, and you got your few different teams. So we have Isaiah. Maybe the one. Congratulations.
Good job, sir. Good job.
Did I say your
Are you
last
friends
name
with
correct?
Jeffrey?
What is
Yeah,
it?
he told me to tell you hello.
Zornachenko. Okay, great. And this is, what did you guys do? You guys made a corn maze. So you guys designed your own corn maze.
Isaiah's prepared to speak, I think.
Oh, Isaiah's ready to speak, okay.
Isaiah, come here. Yes, Isaiah, let's go.
That's awesome.
I love it.
And this is your guys', and then Bagus is your corn maze? Okay.
Good job. Good work.
Good job.
Good job. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Is Emily here? There's Emily, there she is.
Jeffrey also.
And your partner is from
Such
Canada?
wonderful handshakes.
Great
Love it.
job.
Nice and
And
strong.
McKenna's originally? Rutland, okay.
Congratulations. Excellent one.
And Isaiah, are you gonna speak first? Great.
You like?
No?
No. Okay, you don't have to. But good job, guys. Good work.
Nice job.
Congratulations to LT
Missing some names.
Which one? Oh, out at the, I get lost every time I go in there. Out at Lost Creek, you're lost in the corn maze. I know.
And then our last group we're gonna recognize is the 7th grade girls volleyball team. They were part of the Pink Ribbon Good fundraiser that was held last Monday, is that right? Last Monday with their group along with the 8th grade volleyball team and help of the Vandalia Butler Schools raised $5,000+ for as a fundraiser for the Pink Ribbon Good fundraiser. So I wanted to recognize them. And Miss May, you're to come up and introduce everybody.
All right.
You can hold the certificate. You got them? Well, here they come. Right there.
Turn that way.
Yeah.
Isabel Labrador.
Good job.
Michaela Utz.
You get
Good work.
Brother Nick.
High five. High five. High five. Makes life easier. Good job. Good job.
Good job.
That's my number.
Take a picture.
Well, wait, on a side note, didn't you guys have a really good season too?
They are the number 2 seed in the tournament, right? You're number 1, 8th grade's number 2 seed.
Yeah.
So you guys had a game, when do you guys play next?
Thursday's our
You
championship.
have a Thursday in the championship?
Let's go.
And they're 20-0.
And they're undefeated as well. Yeah, so we gotta get their pictures and then. That's it.
I'm gonna knock on
Thank you.
Nice to see you. I feel like I never see you.
Started saying, you may be seated.
That's amazing.
Fourth grade teacher. Very good job. And we sing patriotic songs every day after. My country says to me, America's
every day to relax. You don't have I know, I've been waiting to see everybody at all the games. I got to see like, hey, there's somebody. I know, it's so And next year, and the year after that, and the year after that, yeah.
Congratulations, thanks for coming. Take care, thank you. Ms. Venters had a couple big points at the end of the second.
Yay, Sadie!
Second half. Am I correct with that, Mom?
No, that's
Sadie, Sadie had a couple big points there at the end.
Oh, good job, Sadie.
Everybody thought the match was over and she stayed with it. And
I love
That's
Sadie.
awesome.
yeah.
Sadie spent a lot of time at my house as a child.
Did she?
Yeah, her and Addie used to be well, they're good
Oh.
friends.
What grade is she?
She's 7th grade.
7th grade.
Yeah.
Are we good?
All right. Sorry. Okay, here we go. Okay. Mr. Moran, it's up to you too. Building project update information.
Yes. So we'll be putting out a release, or if we haven't put it out, it's going to be coming out probably tomorrow. So Garmy Miller has officially been selected as the architect for the project for the PK8 and high school renovation project. This was done through the OFCC process. And then we have also shortlisted 3 companies with OFCC's process for the construction manager. And we hope to have that group or that position filled, I think, end of October, beginning of November. We have a meeting tomorrow. We're actually having site visits and question and answer time for those 3 companies. And they'll come back and then, they will do an interview process, and then the group will select scoring sheets and all that based on the presentations to select that
Okay.
person. Our owner representative, we've interviewed 4 candidates. We are down to really selecting it. I've identified one as probably the best candidate for the position. They had 4 different candidates, different experiences. All could have done a good job, I think, and we're looking at one in particular to see if it can work out at this time. We had Rick and Amber were part of the process. Dave and Kim, Dave Stevens and Kim Hagan were also part of the interview process. I don't know if there's anything anybody like to add as well.
I enjoyed the process, got to see different candidates. We had one that was a group, it was a firm, and it was just interesting to see, we had individuals and a firm apply. But I think that, Aaron has an idea of who he'd like to recommend, and I would go for it, just working it out.
Yeah, it was really interesting to see like the dynamic of how they were all in the same caliber of doing things, but they were all so different in how they would do it, or how they would be the owner representative for our district, and like really diving into understanding what their role was in helping us create the best possible school to last for years. So it was an interesting process to sit and kind of listen and hear the different questions and perspectives too, you know, with Kim, who works with stuff all the time, you know, and, you know, you dealing with all the money, it was just a very interesting, and then you having to, you know, deal with this person on a regular basis. So like understanding all the dynamic was very interesting to sit through that interview process. So thank you for inviting me to be a part of it. I enjoyed it very much.
Anything
Yes.
from your,
I too feel it was extremely positive experience, and listening to each group with a different background, different dynamic, different plan. To me, it was really clear as to who would be the best fit for our district. So hopefully we can press forward once we get the details figured out.
anything on your end, Rick?
I would just say that it, as you both mentioned, it was a great meeting, interesting to hear all of them. And, you know, I think that all of them were good candidates for the role. So it's kind of like you can't go wrong with these. So.
Great. Nevin Kopic, we've shut that building down for various reasons, including concerns with the structure of the roof and leakage and some of the asbestos that might be disturbed during that transition out. So well, not during the transition out, is with the storms that came through, especially a couple Thursdays ago, or Fridays ago, that was with the Helene hurricane that really soaked the roof. So we've closed it up. However, we don't think it's probably pertinent to have people access the building because of the concerns. However, we do think there needs to be a ceremonial closing. You know, we're looking at the possibility of people wanted to, you know, get a brick when we bulldoze it or things like that. So we're finalizing that, and that was going to be, is it November?
I want to say it was November something.
Yeah. Yes. I think it's November. We have it down
I
here.
just want to say I put it in my calendar.
For some reason, I thought it was the 7th, but I don't think that's right. I think it's November.
It's November 12th.
November 12th. Yeah, Tuesday, November 12th at 6 p.m. We'll just have a quick kind of ceremonial. People can walk around the building. We may have a couple words from people there, but just a quick recognition that it's going to be demolished here soon. Once we don't have the exact timeline in it, but we want to do it soon for not just the project. It's also because of the safety of what's in there now.
It's a great idea, very thoughtful, because it is a facility that served our community for really
very
well
long
for a
time.
very long time.
Yeah.
A lot of people have some fond memories of it, so I love the idea.
Yeah.
And once we find out what happens with Broadway Central, we'll probably do something, maybe a little more for that. That's gonna be after the new building's done.
Yeah.
Middle school, I don't know if anybody's real attached to it, but you never know.
I went to high school
Yes.
there, so, you know.
The last thing is, that's on the agenda, I kind of want to talk about the collaborative learning network. That's on the agenda for approval. This is a person who, when we passed the bond in March, OFCC invited us, and it was myself, Dave, Kim, Don Scott, was there one more person? Just the 4 of us. Was part of a bunch of schools that went to an OFCC conference about building projects. And they had people that have done multiple projects, not just in worldwide. They really kind of gave us some ideas on how to build as efficiently as possible, not just construction-wise, but also efficiencies with students. And how do we make this really a collaborative learning space that can be flexible for many, many, many years? We do not, I do not need, in my opinion, I don't want long hallways again. Long hallways, it really just divides people and separates. I want more of a collaboration, so not only for our teachers, but our students who can collaborate. How we do that by grade level or areas, we're gonna be figuring out, but these people will help us with that. And if we can reduce our square footage, we'll also reduce our cost as well, or maybe allows us to do some other things that maybe we couldn't do. So they're gonna be working with us in a consultation as well with the architect to really work on this. And right now, we're looking at the educational specification and design support. They have a furniture section, but I don't want to do that right now. If we want to do that later, we can do that, because again, furniture is not, well, let's just put the same desk that we've had for the last 20 years and stick them in rows. We want to be more creative than that. We want to, again, be flexible. We want collaboration with our kids. So all those things, I'd like to have another set of eyes that have done some things and seen more things to help our architect, help our CM, owner rep, everybody create the greatest school possible. And I think, that's our goal, and I think this could help us, and I think it'll be wise to continue with that.
I do have one thing with that, and how I feel about outdoor learning and the opportunity for students to go outside. And there is so much data that supports when students have a chance to go outside, even if for 15 to 20 minutes a day, it improves their mental health, their test scores, just overall everything. I would really like to see, as we move forward, some opportunity for green learning space, for collaborative green learning space for the students and the educators to use, whether it's for PD for the educators, whether it's for the student usage, even, if there were community recognition events, for the students or something there. So that's something that's it's important to me, but I've also seen the benefits of and how students can thrive. And it is a current model of a lot of alternatives, paths to education throughout not only the state of Ohio, but across the country. And I want to make sure that we are offering those so that when education is a choice, that if we offer those opportunities, that our community members would want to enroll their students here, because we do have those, not just for recess is great, but I'm talking about
like there's so
learning.
many studies, especially in like England and stuff like that, about
Absolutely.
the education of just being outside and exploring
Yeah.
and understanding how things work together. So
Correct.
I 100% understand what you're saying. And I think when we did, correct me if I'm wrong, but when we had
posters,
the posters and stuff,
Yeah.
we talked about that when we community, our first, one of our first ones was it with Garmin Miller too? Because I know you led it.
Government wasn't part of it.
Okay, but I remember you leading some
Yeah.
that, and we talked about that a lot too. I think we've got a lot of good ideas.
Yeah.
I think
And
collected
I think
from
bringing
that.
the outside in, I've seen a lot of new builds in the area with the wind, the light, and allowing that natural light in and things like that. So
It's
Well,
mood
to the
building.
best of our ability, we need to make sure this project is future-proof, because
Yes.
yes,
this will be a once-in-our-lifetime project, not for the kids probably, they'll be pretty old with gray hair on their head before this has to be considered
Right.
again. But you don't want to look back after you spend $100 million on a facility and say, man, I wish we would have
Done something, yeah.
I think you want to have, and I think that's the attempt that we're making here. People
Mhm.
have seen other things, but these relatively more recent, innovations that are showing really positive data and all that, we want to include as much of that as possible, and we want to make sure that this is the place for a child to be educated
Mhm.
in this area for a very long time.
As far as, I don't know if the outside space is something that OFCC does with.
Right.
I do know that lighting, like the minimum requirement was 5% outdoor lighting, now I believe it's 10% that they shared with us, so that's some upgrades to
good.
their,
That's good to hear.
their manual, that they want to increase windows and natural lighting. And they had they shared a couple, during the architecture process, where they shared a couple things where, again, it's even in the gyms.
Mhm.
Maybe you have skylights, so to speak, to
Right.
let natural light in to help out during the day.
Mhm.
Just has a different
That's an
feel.
energy efficient.
There's also
Thing
ways
too.
to do indoor-outdoor spaces as well. They're
Absolutely.
separated by walls that can be opened up when the weather's nice, if it's a cafeteria space or a learning space, whatever, so lots of really cool
Yeah,
things
we've
you
got
can
lots
do.
of cool things ahead
And
of us.
this person, this group can help us with
That's
their
great.
experience, and that's why, again, I want somebody that has this experience to help consult with us to make this, again, a fabulous space for our kids now, but in the future. I don't want it to be where, hey, we got a great deal with open spaces here, and then pretty soon well, that doesn't work. We knew that wasn't gonna work, but we still did
What
it.
was that
Yeah.
wall?
And now we have to put up walls.
Right.
We
What was-
want it to be,
What's that wall you guys are
Flexible.
talking about?
Well,
So-
the gentleman that we're talking about at that
Interview?
OFCC session we were at, he had to leave the meeting, he had to leave halfway through because he was going to London to work with the school out there.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
yeah,
worldwide.
okay, cool.
any questions about that? Okay,
Great.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Next is citizens' comments.
You have it right there.
Yes, I do. Mr. Watson, I'm very sorry. I can't read this last word that you wrote, sir. Can I bring it to you and you tell me what it is? Particle? Okay, thank you.
Article.
Article or article? Okay. Okay, awesome. Let me see, where am I starting at? Just as a reminder, during citizens' comments, please don't create any obstructions between the board and the audience. No interviews are to be conducted in the meeting room when the board is in session. No commentary, adjustments of equipment, etc. The presiding officer may interrupt, warn, or terminate a participant's statement when the statement is too lengthy, personally directive, abusive, obscene, or irrelevant. Request any individual to leave the meeting when that person does not observe reasonable decorum. Request the assistance of law enforcement officers in the removal of a disorderly person when that person's conduct interferes with the orderly progress of the meeting. Call for a recess or an adjournment to another time when the lack of public decorum or so interferes with the orderly conduct of the meeting as to warrant such action. Waive these rules with the approval of the board when necessary for the protection of privacy for the administration of the board's business. And J, and the portion of the meeting during which the participant of the public is invited shall be limited to 30 minutes unless extended by the vote of the board. And each statement made by a participant shall be limited to a 5-minute duration. All right, Mr. Watson. You'll give me a second just to get my clock set, please. Okay, whenever you're ready, sir.
Don Watson, West State Route 571, Tipp City, Ohio. History repeats itself. I've been told that all my life. We have an excellent opportunity to build a school that has 20% light. If we rebuild what is known to most people as the old castle, it was a magnificent building. It had no long hallways. It had open steps. It had tournicles on the corner of every room but one, which had 3 windows, which gave, and plus 2 more windows, so that gave each room 7 large windows. So because history repeats itself, I think we need to visit the architecture of the castle and rebuild it. People in town would be very happy if we would do that. Dave Cook, former mayor of Tipp City, and Dave Smith, alumnus of the class of '67, are very interested in the architecture of the old castle. So if you could contact them, they could help you a lot more than me. Again, back to history repeats itself. It was in the fall of 1957, 27 students in the Tipp City school system who had all A's and B's on their report cards through the year. Miss Howard, they were in the only room that didn't have the round windows in it, in the second floor middle classroom. The school building called the Castle had to repeat, this class had to repeat third grade because they had no C, Ds, and Fs on their report card. But the superintendent, L.T. Ball, because they hadn't finished part 8 of his plan, made them repeat the third grade. That's why I don't have much respect for L.T. Ball. It was no fault of the students. So I would keep very close contact on children because that's why we're here, to love them and to educate them. Now to scripture, which should have been practiced in that incident. And you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul and with all your mind and with all your strength. And if we do that, things will come out right. I do believe. Now, the article I wanted to read was in the Tipp Gazette, and I thought it was very excellent, by Greg Stenicky. And it said that a man's heart reveals who he is. Outward actions, whether by his speech or appearance, though in some cases it may not reveal in totality who he is, but may reveal what he is, even what he or she is doing. For instance, when I mow my grass, I find it somewhat uncomfortable in actuality out of the norm to wear a suit and tie. If you see me doing that, you will also say, whether to yourself or someone beside you, he is a crazy man. Therefore, I dress accordingly. By that, you know my intention, which would be to work around the yard. Just as we see the outward appearance, we can also see the heart of an individual. And in many cases, what we see or even hear will speak loudly. If there was a volume knob on your heart, I'm certain that we would like to turn it either down or completely off, so no one would know what is in our heart. However, and unfortunately, that is not the case. The Bible tells us twice by the Lord Jesus himself in Matthew and Luke, out of the abundance of the heart.
Mr. Watson, your time is up.
Pardon?
Your time is up.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, informational reports. Our first informational report is the Miami Valley CTC meeting minutes. Mr. Maines?
Okay, I have a few different things. As you can see from the minutes of the last meeting in our consent agenda, there's always going to be a couple resignations from retirement. We had some new hires coming in, and then we had a special recognition for Dr. Kevin Lacey. I don't know how many of you know him, but he was on our board for 17 years, and he initially was a social studies teacher in Maryland, and then came to, and then also principal at McDonald High School, and then Graham High School, and superintendent before he started his career with the Tech Center. He provided 17 years of dedicated service to the Miami Valley Technology Center. Initially, he was our business manager, and that was beginning in 2007. And then he was added the responsibilities of personnel director, and then he was promoted to assistant superintendent of operations for the remainder of his career with CTC. He was one heck of a man. So he's now retired and moved on, but I just want to give him some special recognition. So, and a couple other things that I want to recognize is just like the Tipp schools, we got our school report card for the MVCTC, and we received a 5-star rating. So in achievement, we got 4 stars, but in graduation rate, 5 stars, career and post-secondary readiness, 5 stars, post-program outcomes, 5 stars. And then it was pointed out that MVCTC excels in helping students earn industry-recognized credentials, which is an important measure of career readiness. Students are encouraged and supported to earn credentials before graduation or shortly thereafter, which is reflected in the school's strong performance in this particular area. And with these impressive results, CTC continues leading the way in career technical education, ensuring that our students have the skills and knowledge needed to thrive in the future. One more thing I wanted to point out, this is something new. MVCT is excited to announce the opening of what we call the 6800 Bistro. It's the opening of the Bistro as a full-service student-run restaurant with 6800, and the 6800 Bistro provides culinary arts students with valuable hands-on experience in all aspects of restaurant operations. So it's located on the CTC campus, and the bistro actually operates 3 days a week, serving the general public and the MVCTC staff. The schedule allows students to apply their training in a real-world environment under the guidance of experienced instructors. So this is a new program, and I thought it was very good that they're
really
doing
cool.
that. So if you get a chance, you might want to take a stop over there and see about having dinner.
I need to extend my lunch hour.
There you go.
Right.
So that's my report for this month.
Awesome. Thank you. Anyone else with reports from, yes, Mrs. Dillard?
So Tipp Monroe Community Services met back on, they always meet the same week that we do, so I can't remember the date, September.
20-something.
Yeah, so anyway, they were in full Mum Festival,
Planning.
which the Mum Festival went well, even though it rained. Some of the vendors didn't show up, but for the most part, everything still pulled off. The rain held off for the parade and for the race. So that was, that brought in, the Run for the Mums brought in $3,500. So that's good. They also received some other donations. Of course, it's a nonprofit, so they depend on a lot of donations. They also hired the coordinator for Katie's job, and she's already started. I met her. I don't remember her name. She does have a child in Tipp schools. And they are in need of volunteers for coaches, always need for coaches for the different youth sports, and donations for the food collection and the holiday gift giving that's coming up here in November.
Awesome. Okay.
I just want to say a shout out to community services and all that they do. I know that my daughter did the parade from Broadway to the Zion Church last year, and she has literally been asking when that's going to occur
Halloween
for
parade
the
is
last
coming up,
2
yeah.
months.
It'll be
And,
Monday, yeah.
Yeah, and I literally am leaving a ginormous legislative event on Monday to come back and walk her in the parade. So if y'all want to be entertained, got a super sweet costume that I let my 7-year-old pick out.
Yes, that's coming up. And then trick or treats next. Trick or treat's coming up soon
Trick or treat
too.
is actually, it's always on Thursday. And
It's on,
trick-or-treat.
it's on, yeah,
Yeah.
Halloween this year. Yes.
So shout out to community services
Yes.
and all of our community partners that Rick, Aaron, and I sit on the Rotary, and it's great how much this community supports
Yes. Mhm.
everybody here. It's awesome.
Agreed. All right. Any others? I didn't know if you had parks too or no.
The Parks Board did not meet.
Okay.
They meet every other month, and then they didn't have the last meeting, so it'll be next month.
I just wanted to make sure I didn't want to
Thank
skip you over. So Tipp Educational Endowment met last week. Yes. I was at soccer, but Mr. Moran did attend. But they're working on a couple of things this year. So they've realized that they want to recognize more people in our school district. So they're actually going to come up with another way to recognize bus drivers, admins, that kind of stuff in our district this year with a new award as well. So that's really awesome. And then a reminder to teachers that the grant cycle started today and it runs through November 15th. So
And not just teachers.
and not just teachers, sorry. Yes, aides, everybody that has something that they would
Everybody in
like
the
a
school
grant for
You said November
in the
15th?
district. Yes, through November 15th. And please fill them out because there's always money to give. And thank you to all the donors that give to that too. Okay, that's all I got on that. Any other committees? Okay. All right, next, treasurer's report, Mr. Stevens, monthly financial report.
All right, well, attached is a copy of the September financial report. You'll notice it looks a little different this month because we did successfully sell the bonds and we did receive the bond funding from that. So the cash balance, if you were to look at the first page for the reconciliation, we're just under $100 million because we have $80 million sitting in the building accounts as we.
Which is-
Look at Dave sweating.
I am. Well, it's now up to me to track every single penny, and
Yes.
there are so many accounts that have been created for it, and it definitely changed the face of this. So I just wanted to point that out. At the bottom of that page, you'll see that we have our different Red Tree investment accounts that is tracking the money separately. We have our regular operating money that we had previously. That was what was formerly in Fifth Third. We moved it over to Red Tree, but now you're looking at our OFCC LFI funds. That's the portion of the project that's co-funded, but it's part of the project that we want to move forward with. And then you have your OFCC local funding. That's the co-funded part. And then we have our local LFI, which is the tennis courts and the bus garage, the things that is not being funded by OFCC. And then we also received some bond proceeds from that sale, which we mentioned previously. Those bond proceeds are now in the fund on their own, and they will be used to help bring down the millage rate on the future debt. So we'll be using that money to bring it down at least a mill. So I wanted to point those out on that page. That's new. And then if you were to look at page 2, well, past the cover, so I guess it's page 3. This is the investment income report. It's a little different from what you've seen previously. You'll notice that there were some negative investment income numbers, and there is a note there that explains what that is. That's us purchasing accrued interest for investments with higher returns. That'll all be wiped out when it's matured. We'll receive all that money back. We just had to pay advance to make sure that people were properly compensated because we bought these investments mid-run. They were not purchased at the very beginning of when they were issued. So this accrued interest it brought down the investment income for the month, but we're going to get it all back, and we'll just continue to see that happen. Continue to see that interest accrue. Again, all of these are being tracked in their own funds. You can see that we're earning money in the general fund, but we're also earning money in the food service fund, in the non-OFCC LFI account, in the OFCC project account. We're keeping track of all of that. So any questions on the interest report there? Okay. And then on the 4th page, we have our cash summary report. You can see that Fund 4, that's our building fund, and Fund 10, those are the big ones that increased, because I'm not even sure those were even on the balance sheet last time. So all those new accounts have been created, and that number the number that I mentioned earlier, the 99 million, they're just under 100 million. It ties right back to this report, so they're just showing that we've reconciled. Last but not least, I have the budget versus actual. Just some items to point out is in the expenditure side, the personnel services, the salaries, they are showing less than what we expected, but this is less than what we expected on the May forecast, which is exactly what we expected to see because we have made those reductions in force. We expect to see them down, and so it's going exactly where we want it to be. The 5-year forecast is currently being reviewed by K-12 Consulting. It's in their hands. They're gonna give it they're gonna do some tweaks on it, and I'll get it back, and then I'm gonna finish it up. And So everything right now looks good. And purchase services, I made a note that the purchase services as of now of this part of this year, it's down 10% from last year. But if you think about it, we were redoing the building roof, and we ended up spending about $300,000, which just happens to be 10% of the total purchase services on the forecast. So it's going exactly as planned. Speaking of the 5-year forecast, I just wanted to let the board members know that I will not be able to be at the meeting next month when we present the forecast as normal in November. I will be in Texas. My daughter was called up suddenly to boot camp for the Air Force, and she will be graduating that month.
Oh, yay.
So,
Congratulations.
yep.
That's awesome.
So I'll be taking all my family cross country in a van for 19 hours because flying's too expensive, and then turning around and driving back. But we're hoping to have a really good time. And so I will be providing the forecast to the board in advance. Please ask any questions that you have. I'll try to answer all of those. And then I will share information with Mr. Moran, and I believe he said that he'd be willing to try to be Dave for a day.
Oh boy, that's gonna be fun.
So anyway, are there any questions on the September monthly report?
No question, but it's exciting now to see that money in the account. I don't know if you're anything like me, but it's not real until you see it on paper and in the account. And then it gets real, and so it's just exciting to know that that's there. It's funded. We're full steam ahead. That's awesome. Not that I had anticipated anything going wrong, but you almost sort of hold your breath until you see it in this way. And now it's like, okay.
It's interesting to see each checkbox as it gets marked off. You'll see another item tonight. OFCC came back. Turns out we have to approve the approval, which was a step we didn't realize we needed to do. And so there's just one more approval, but we're currently full swing. You know, we have the architect now on board. We're getting ready to interview the CMRs and select the owner's rep, and the design phase is going to start, and it's just going to start snowballing. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah, so, it's going to be great.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Fantastic. Well, if there are no other questions, that's all I have.
Okay.
Good job, Dave.
Thanks,
Thank
Dave.
you.
All right. Okay, so then I need a motion. Yes. I would entertain a motion for the approval of the fiscal year 2025 appropriation amendments.
I'll move we approve.
Okay, moved by Mr. Maines,
I'll second.
seconded by Mr. Thompson. Are you guys okay with me putting the discussion to Mr. Stevens?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Stevens, go ahead.
Well, my computer is not bringing up my content here.
You're all right. Take your time.
Give me one moment. I'll see if I can go in the back way here.
You have about 24,000.
There it is. It popped up. It popped up. So yeah, we have about $76,000 of increases in appropriations, and all of these are, in 019, the other grants, we did receive a small, a new local grant for $1,340. So we have to budget the revenue and the expense so we can spend it. We did receive in the 300 fund, which is our athletic budgets, we received the high school athletic director donation budget. He collects, Mr. Kramer has donations that come throughout the year. And so he has to appropriate those just like anybody else if he wants to use it to purchase things for the athletic programs. We had the wrestling team, the bowling team, they also had budgets be submitted in. And then last, in the 003 fund for permanent improvement, we did unfortunately have 2 small bus accidents that were not the district's fault. The buses were damaged. We have received insurance monies to repair those buses. So we had some additional funds come in, and we're appropriating those so we can make those repairs. So that's the only increases we have in appropriations.
All right, any questions, discussion? All right, hearing none, we'll go ahead and vote.
Maines,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Drum,
Yes.
Dillard,
Yes.
McMurray.
Yes.
Okay. Motion for the fiscal year 2025 appropriations amendments passes. All right. Next, I would entertain a motion for the approval of the following transfer. A transfer of, what is it,
48 million.
Thank you, 48,274,000 no,
Yep,
wait,
that's it.
yep, $254.61 to local project LFIs to the other.
Yeah,
That's all a lot.
Yeah, we're transferring
It's in public
asking-
content.
Not that I'm asking, I'm letting the board know that we need to transfer $48,274,254.61 from the 004 building fund, which was the fund where all of the bond sales came into, to the 010 fund, because that is the OFCC local project costs. And so we put it into 004 fund, which because we were legally required to. Now we have to transfer it to the 010 building fund, so that we can track the local portion of the OFCC project. And this is mandatory. Yeah, OFCC has already asked me to send them the cash report saying, hey, show us that you moved this money. We're waiting, so.
Okay.
I guess we need a first and a second.
Yes.
I talked too much.
No, it's totally fine. I'm glad you mentioned
I'll
it.
motion that we approve the transfer.
Thank you, Mrs. Murray.
Okay, Mrs. McMurray, and is there a second?
I'll second.
Thompson's faster. Mr. Thompson is faster. Okay, moved by McMurray and Mr.
Do you need me to say anything else?
Words just come out. And Mr. Thompson is
Okay.
our second for the transfer of the from 004 to 010 funding. I'm special.
Okay.
We're ready when you are.
McMurray,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Drum,
Yes.
Dillard,
Yes.
Maines.
Yes.
All right. The motion passes.
Thank you very much.
All right, next item of business is new business consent agenda items. Consent agenda items are listed below, but it includes prior meeting minutes, retirements, resignations, new hires, supplemental corrections, substitutes, new instructional tutors, Tippecanoe STEM education grant acceptance. Thank you for the grants. Tippecanoe grant acceptance, cross-country donations, Sarah Merritt Memorial Fund acceptance, Jason Pierce donation acceptance, anonymous donation acceptance, and Tippecanoe chapter of the Order of the Eastern Star. We do not have to have any discussion on consent agenda items. I would just need a motion for the approval of the consent agenda items.
I'll move that we approve the consent agenda items.
Moved by Mrs. Dillard. Is there a second?
You motion. He's like, no, I will.
Seconded by
Beat me
Mrs.
at it,
McMurray.
so I'll
What is
second.
happening? Okay, just kidding. It's Mr. Maines.
Okay.
The weather.
It is.
Okay. The motion for the consent agenda is moved by Mrs. Dillard and seconded by Mr. Maines. And we will go ahead and vote. Mr. Stevens.
Dillard,
Yes.
Maines.
Yes.
Drum,
Yes.
McMurray,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
I'll just say thank you to Ms. B and Ms. Cook for their
Yeah.
service to the district.
Yes.
It's been they've
Oh my
been
gosh.
great resources for our students.
Two amazing women. You know, I'm proud that my children have had, so. thank you.
Yeah. Jeannie is, Mrs. Cook is, she's done amazing things.
Mhm.
Amazing things.
Lots
yeah.
of donations also.
Yes.
Thank
Again,
you.
from the Tipp Foundation, Sarah Merritt Memorial, and
Yeah.
school district really appreciates all of these donations.
Yeah, the soccer team, thank you very much for the soccer recording stuff. It's really cool to have. So appreciate all the donations, guys.
And the new pizza owner, he donated all the money from the auctioning the sign.
Yes.
Or, it wasn't auctioning, it
Cars-
was a
Yeah,
A raffle.
the raffle.
raffle.
Yeah. Yeah. They're great. They've been, well, they used to have, anyway, no one, it's fine. All right. New business. I would,
Good disposal.
Mhm.
So that this, on the
Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
disposal of the surplus property, so if you, again, this is everything from Nevin that is not needed, obsolete, don't need, that we're hoping maybe somebody else could find a home for and pay for it. So you have that whole list of pieces that are been taken out and sequestered into the gym. So anything that's worthwhile is in the gym in a safe spot, gym/cafeteria area. Everything else is disposable.
Okay,
Kim, are there any other items to be put together and sold off as well, or is this the whole lot that we felt had some value to it?
That's the whole package.
Okay.
of the building
Okay.
right now.
And then there were also some computer monitors from another building.
Yeah, he's brought all of that over here at this point. There should be a tech still in the building,
okay,
except for cameras that will remove.
right.
or get-
Do we know when that auction's gonna take place?
As soon as I can start listing them
Okay,
on Gov Deals,
Perfect,
okay.
perfect.
once it's approved, of course.
Mhm.
Okay,
So I actually did the research and I went to govdeals.com like prior to. You can buy everything from a helicopter, an
Oh, yes.
agricultural, to arcade games,
Mhm.
to, there's only two, food, but I learned something.
mm-hmm,
I had no idea.
I don't think they ship, so.
yeah, keep that in mind.
I'm good. I'm a minimalist. I can't,
No helicopter for you?
extra stuff in my garage.
Yeah.
Not do okay.
Okay, so I would love a motion for the approval to declare the following items obsolete and put the items up for public auction on govdeals.com and sold to the highest bidder per board policy 7310. The list of items is listed in public content as well.
I'll motion.
Moved by Mr. Thompson. And is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mrs. Dillard. Is there any other discussion on the items? All right, hearing none, we'll proceed to vote.
Thompson,
Yes.
Dillard,
Yes,
Drum,
Yes.
Maines,
Yes,
McMurray.
Yes.
All right, motion passes. So this next one is the approval of the contract with Collaborative Learning Network. It was the one that Mr. Moran already discussed when he went over the building information as we move forward with facilities. So I would love a motion for approval to contract with Collaborative Learning Network LLC, not to exceed the amount of $17,400 for the following consulting services, which is preparation, review of existing documents, design support, educational specifications, and yes, and then the proposal is listed in public content to review as well.
I'll motion to approve.
Okay, moved by Mr. Thompson.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Maines. And the floor is now open for discussion. Mr. Thompson, is there anything you'd like to add first?
No, I just think this is gonna be money well spent, and I think it's, to our previous discussion, I think it's gonna help us, think in ways that previously we wouldn't have about the project and, entertain all the right ideas. So I think it's a value add for sure.
Mr. Maines?
The only question I have is in the copy of the contract here, we had mentioned the motion was not to exceed 17.4, but it says 19.8. And I see, you know, there's like $2,400.
Furniture.
One part, the furniture.
Okay,
We're not gonna do that yet.
okay,
I said that we were gonna hold off on that furniture piece.
okay, so we could
It's
just
just
line that out of
furniture
there.
whisper.
Yep, it's
Okay.
just for the educational
Gotcha.
specification,
That's
design
the line.
support.
Okay, all right, thank
It's-
you.
The line item is
What does
furniture
whispering mean?
Mhm.
That's furniture design for classroom.
Yeah, yeah.
Helps with
Okay.
consulting on that.
I was like, what do they do? Do they talk to?
Just looking at different types of furniture that might fit
Okay.
different classrooms
Mhm.
Okay,
and age levels.
I don't see like any hours and like how many hours of consulting it is. It has a timeline. It says, you know, September for the preparation under schedule, and the design support is October to March, but is there a guaranteed number of hours of consultation or number of meetings?
This is to get the design done. This is,
so however long it
Yeah.
takes, is that
So
kind of it?
however long
Okay.
it
Yeah.
takes.
this is to get it,
It's pretty standard for consulting contracts. They price it based on their deliverables and not based on hourly or milestones or anything like that. So with their timeframe being October 24 through, what is it?
March of,
March.
yeah.
25. Just in my experience with these type of things, you typically can expect a pretty decent amount of communication throughout, but they don't, it's not typical that they would set milestones or any sort of, you know, we'll do 10 hours of work and then meet with you. Or anything
Yeah,
like
so
that.
in theory, it could even come out lower, but
Could.
we're saying not to exceed 17.4. If they spend more time, that's on their shoulders, so
Yeah.
that's the max.
They're incentivized to work quickly.
Mhm.
because it's a
Yeah,
flat rate.
because it's a flat rate.
The reason I asked is it just seems like a very reasonable dollar amount
Mhm.
for that length of time for consulting work.
I was surprised.
Me too.
So,
When I first saw that, I thought the number would be a lot higher.
I did
So
too.
when I saw the number, I was pleasantly surprised.
me too.
All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote.
Thompson,
Yes.
Maines.
Yes,
Drum,
Yes,
Dillard,
Yes?
McMurray.
Yes.
motion passes. Next item on the agenda is transportation. Oh, yeah, you go ahead and talk about this first.
So again, as I shared, this is, when school transportation is impractical, where time and distance required is too much, the number of pupils, the cost is too much, districts are allowed to do transportation in lieu of, and in this case, that's where this resolution is for impracticability of transporting a student to their educational setting, which isn't Tipp City Schools. This is another school setting that this person goes to.
So let's go ahead and put the motion on the table. Is there anyone who would like to make the motion for the approval of the resolution declaring transportation impractical?
I'll make the motion.
Moved by Mrs. McMurray. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, second by Mr. Maines. Mrs. McMurray, did you have any discussion?
No.
Okay, Mr. Maines? Either one of you, discussion on it?
I'm just, is this a placement of the student from Tipp schools to the Montessori, or is this a parent's choice?
Parent's choice.
This
Parents'
is
choice.
not a school placement.
This is a parent's choice. We are legally required to transport all students to private educational facilities within 30 minutes of actual bus drive time. So this facility has been timed in the past, and we can do this drive in 30 minutes. However, the cost associated with putting a bus on this route we believe that they are excessive, and so the board has the option of declaring it impractical, and then we will be providing the family with a monetary amount set by the Ohio Department of Education. And I believe the amount for this year is roughly about $580 for them to provide transportation for their student. And there are other school districts or other school buildings we do this for. St. Chris is a name that is said numerous times. If you believe Troy Christian as well. So, yep. And if we can't provide in lieu of transportation, other things that we've done in the past is to provide tokens. We will get the child down to Vandalia, which I believe there is an RTA bus. I'm not even sure they call it RTA anymore, but that would take the student down to, say,
Like Stivers or like,
the Eagles. Who are they?
CJ.
CJ. Thank you.
Yeah.
And so, that was something we did in the past, but I believe now all the CJ families are on payment in lieu of as well, like this one here.
yeah, because we've approved this before. I asked it to be moved into this part so we could discuss it. Because it's been on the previous 2 years that we've been on the board, we've approved something like this. So I just wanted you guys to know what it was as we move forward as well.
Yeah. Whenever a new student comes on and the family accepts that, we will vote for an approval. And it's a one and done approval for the student. We don't have to do it every year.
Great, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions, discussion? All right, we'll go ahead and take a vote.
McMurray,
Yes.
Maines.
Yes,
Drum,
Yes,
Dillard,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
motion passes. Okay, next is the OFCC CFAP acceptance of conditional approval. As Mr. Stevens kind of already said, this is just something we have to do, that basically we're doing it again. So at this time, I would love a motion for the approval of the resolution declaring, oh wait, no, it didn't change, sorry.
Mine's stuck.
Mine froze too.
Yep, okay, so at least it's everybody.
Except I have things saved. Come on, save.
It's on there now.
Is it?
If you refresh it.
Oh, sweet, okay, just kidding, I'll
I
try
hate the
again.
word. Changes you made may not be saved. Come on.
Okay, well, it's a motion to
do it by
approve
hand.
the OFCC CFAP acceptance of conditional approval.
I'll make the motion.
Moved by Mr. Maines,
I'll second.
seconded by Mrs. Dillard. Mr. Maines, any discussion?
No.
Okay. Mrs. Dillard?
Discussion?
Yes.
No.
Anyone else? Any discussion?
My computer's not doing anything.
Let's go.
Yeah.
All of it.
Thomas.
Give us a second. Sorry, guys.
Probably Wi-Fi issue.
Mine's back now.
Mine is just hanging out. Ooh, ooh.
Having Wi-Fi issues, Thomas.
It hates us, Thomas.
Oh, wait, I might be back.
I just got back in, slowly. Maybe. I'm just thinking about it.
This is just another hoop we have to jump through,
Yeah.
right?
You know what, weirdly, this is the first time I've ever printed one off, too.
It's just running slow now. It's all right. Back up.
So if we get stuck, I did print it off.
No, this is the, we did the notice of conditional improvement, and
Yes.
this is a this is a, that was called a NOCA, this
Yeah.
is called the COCA, certification of conditional improvement, and it's just part of the process.
Got it?
Okay.
We have to go,
Ooh, hold
Going
on,
old
hold
school.
on,
we have to go old school here. Just-
hold on, I know,
Paper and pencil.
I have it, I have
Let's
it,
do
I
it.
did print it off, I really did.
Oh, we already had the motion, we just gotta,
Yeah, we just have to go from there.
there we go.
Ooh, maybe,
There we go.
just thinking about it. Got it. Okay, you guys there yet? Is yours doing the weird
Wait,
thing?
Reset again.
Yeah, mine did it like 6 times.
Okay, it's
go.
fine. I'm
Okay,
good. I had already
Dave, how
read
about
it,
you?
so-
You there yet?
I'm up.
Yes,
I hit
okay,
save.
okay. It did save?
I saved. Yep, it's saved.
Okay, fantastic. All right, so Maines, and then Dillard is our second. Whenever you're, yeah,
Okay, we're ready
Yep.
for the vote.
Yep.
Maines,
Yes.
Dillard,
Yes.
Drum,
yes,
McMurray,
Yes,
Thompson.
Yes.
okay,
Thank you. I'll be sending this to OFCC tomorrow morning.
fantastic. All right, next, I would love a motion for approval to move work sessions for the remainder of this year to occur at 5 PM on the day of the monthly regular meeting at LT Ball.
I'll motion.
Moved by Mr. Thompson,
I'll second.
seconded by Mrs. McMurray. Mr. Thompson, any discussion?
None.
I do have one point of clarification in the recommended action. When it says approval to move work sessions for the remainder of the year, is that the remainder of 2024? Or
Yes,
the academic year?
the calendar year.
Okay. If
Because
we
in January.
We
as
do it all over
organization,
again.
You set the dates again.
Right, I didn't know if we needed to make a clarification.
Well, let me
I
add the
understand
word
question.
Yeah.
calendar
Twenty
year.
twenty-four.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just for clarification purposes.
Okay, I have added remainder of the calendar year 2024 to occur at 5 PM.
Fantastic.
So that would make our next 2 dates then, would that be November 12th and then
I believe it's November 19th,
November 19th, sorry.
Yeah.
The third,
and I'm not
And
sure what December's
That would be
meeting.
17th.
17th,
Yeah,
correct.
that's not Christmas.
That was in Christmas Eve.
And
So
that
I
would
might not
work.
be at that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't be on the Christmas Eve one,
Might be absent.
Yeah.
but that's fine. Okay, so Yes, clarification, it'll be the end of 2024. Any other discussion? All right, hearing none, we'll proceed to vote.
Thompson?
Yes.
McMurray?
Yes.
Drum?
Yes.
Dillard?
Yes.
Maines?
Yes.
All right, motion passes. The exciting part of the meeting. Our upcoming meetings. Our next regular Board of Education meeting will occur on November 19th, 2024 at LT Ball Intermediate School, beginning with our work session at 5 p.m. and our regular meeting at 6 p.m. Like I did that?
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's great.
okay.
Good job.
And at this time, I would love a motion for adjournment.
I'll motion.
Moved by Mr. Thompson,
A second.
seconded by Mrs. Dillard. Is there any discussion?
Do we have to?
Ugh.
adjourn?
Rick,
That was Thompson and Dillard.
Thompson and Dillard.
Fine.
Yes, Rick, but we need to move
All
on.
right.
Okay,
Thompson?
Yes.
Dillard?
Yes.
Drum?
yes.
Maines?
Yes.
McMurray?
Yes.
The time is now 7:16 p.m. and this meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, everyone.
Great job, Amber.